Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a Riding with Seeker and we're going to talk about the silver market, the fact that the silver market has dropped below $20 an ounce for the first time since almost COVID, like right after that initial drop where it spiked down to 11. And additionally, we're going to talk about stacking silver for the right reasons and why I believe that people are losing interest in stacking silver. Of course, that's not everybody. So there's definitely been a pullback in the amount of people that have been interested in silver. It's very clear to see, at least for me. So that's what I want to talk to you about today in today's Riding with Seeker series. So feel free to kick back and join me. If you don't want to watch and just want to listen, throw it up on your speakers and kick back and close your eyes or whatever. But anyway, let's get into it really quick. If you're new here, do me a favor. Don't forget to go down below and subscribe. It really helps me out. And I greatly appreciate it as I make this drive in a little bit of rain. So I wanted to start off with something that really needs to be said when it comes to YouTube and silver stacking YouTubers and any financial YouTuber for that matter. Nobody on YouTube, and the reason I'm saying this, by the way, is not just to protect me, but the reason I'm saying this is because there are people I believe that don't understand this. And so I just want to make sure it's very clear. People on YouTube, doesn't matter if it's me or anyone else, doesn't matter if they have 1,000 subscribers, 5 subscribers, or 1 million. People on Reddit, most of the people on Reddit are not the people you want to be listening to from financial advice. And let me explain why that is. I'm not saying that these people don't know what they're talking about. Many of them very well may. But the truth of the matter is there's no way for a person behind a screen like myself to know what your financial situation is. I don't know what your debt is. I don't know what your income is. I don't know what your responsibilities are. And so for that reason, it is impossible for anybody to make a solid financial decision for what your situation is, except for you and a licensed financial provider who can actually sit down with you and look through your assets, look through your debts, look through your income, and help you make that plan. That is very, very important. And the reason I want to bring that up, again, is not to protect me, but because of what I've seen over the last year and a half since the beginning of the silver squeeze in 2021. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big proponent of what I consider to be stacking responsibly or stacking for the right reasons. And the reasons I say that is because, and I'll give you an example, I watch a lot of other silver YouTubers. Last year, I was reading comments on a couple of other channels that were really talking about the silver squeeze and everything else that's going on. If you guys don't know what the silver squeeze, I'll cover that in a second. I don't want to get off course. And I saw comments like this. I took out a loan to buy silver. I took out a second mortgage on my house to buy silver. Don't do that, okay? And again, I'm not a financial professional, but oh my gosh, that is insane. And the reason I consider that such an insane decision is because you are going into debt with a loan, whether it be low interest, and I do understand that, last year and before we had very low interest. That's fine. Low interest loans are great. But you're going into debt to invest in an asset that is very volatile and could very well lose, and has, by the way, since the beginning of the silver squeeze, lose a lot of its value. Don't do it, because now you are responsible for the debt. The asset that you invested in using that debt is not worth what it was when you invested in it, unfortunately. Hopefully that turns around. That's going to make you sick to your stomach. And so, especially if it's like a second mortgage on a house, and now we're worried about going into a recession, and that's not going to be very good if you're in a lot of debt. So what I mean is just like I said, making crazy fun, and maybe those people were just being silly. Maybe they were, trolling. Maybe they were just, trying to look cool, whatever. But making bad financial decisions like that, especially when it comes to investing into such a volatile asset such as silver or crypto or the stock market, whatever it may be, it's just, in my opinion, has never been a good idea. So before you make those decisions, please go out and seek financial advice from a licensed professional that can look over your situation and help you make a good, solid choice for you. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about why I believe that people are losing interest in silver. And I think it goes back to the beginning of the silver squeeze. And there's no doubt about it. A lot of people got interested in silver at the beginning of the silver squeeze. No question about it. And why? The reason that they got interested in it? Well, I think a lot of people got interested in it because you had the guys from Wall Street Bets form Wall Street Silver. And those people got nuts about silver. Like, silver's going to be the next GameStop. It's going to be the next AMC. It's going to be the next Bitcoin. And this is going to be your next opportunity to become a millionaire. And people bought into it. They're like, oh my gosh. And so they started doing the silver squeeze. I told you I'd tell you what the silver squeeze is. Here we go. So the silver squeeze was a bunch of people that thought that they were going to be able to drain the physical supply of silver, causing the spot price to skyrocket to where they believe it should be. Now, these people believe that silver should be $100 an ounce or better. If you believe that, that's fine. I don't. But they believe it should be $100 an ounce or better. I personally believe it should be into low to mid 30s, and I base that number not off of a random number off the top of my head, but looking at historical silver data, looking at the value of silver versus other goods and commodities, how it sets up against inflation. I think silver should easily be into the mid 30s. No question about that. Of course, that's my opinion. But silver, in my opinion, should not be in the $100 an ounce range. I don't think that it's there. Anyone who thinks that silver should be $100 an ounce believes that silver should be worth way more today than it was, than it was in the 60s and the 70s. And that's fine if you believe that, but I don't. But anyway, going back to it, so you had this whole silver squeeze. Everyone's like, next GameStop, next AMC, we're going to be millionaires. Let's go. It's going to be the most exciting thing ever. I can't wait. I missed the boat on GameStop. I missed the boat on Bitcoin. Let's go. And so they're taking out these massive loans to invest in silver. And then what happens? Well, we see the silver spot, even the day of the silver squeeze, it spiked really quick and then it dropped back down. And since then, we were floating, the 23, 24 range. Now, for the first time since before the silver squeeze, we have silver below $20 an ounce. So every single person that got invested in silver during the silver squeeze is underwater. And that's fine if you invested into silver correctly. Let me tell you what I consider investing in silver correctly to me. Okay, when I invest in anything, whether it's silver, stocks, crypto, whatever it may be, I do this first. And again, not financial advice. I do this first. I make sure that I have enough money set aside to cover my bills for 6 months. That's all of my, my mortgage, whatever my car payments are, whatever other bills, my utilities, everything. After that, I also make sure that I have emergency money aside. Actually, to be honest with you, I make sure I have emergency money aside first, but it doesn't matter. It all works out the same way. After that, I make sure that I have money set aside for emergencies. For example, let's say you're in a car accident, you need to pay your deductible, or you even worse, you don't have gap coverage and you lose some of the value of your car. Now you have to go out and buy a new one and you have to put a down payment. It becomes a nightmare, right? If it's a total loss. Let's say you have a major medical emergency and you have to pay your co-pays, and let's say your maximum out of pocket for the year, I don't know what your insurance is, but let's say your maximum out of the pocket for a year is $5,000. So make sure you have that $5,000 set aside, because what that means is the maximum that you can be out of pocket with your insurance is $5,000, and after that, insurance should cover it for the rest of the year. So make sure you at least have that maximum out of pocket set aside to cover your insurance. After all of your emergency needs are covered, all the possible emergency expenses, and then of course having that money set aside in case you find yourself in a bad financial situation. Once all that's set aside, then the rest of that money you can take and start looking at investments. Again, this is how I do it. I'm not telling you how to do it. But once that's all set aside, you can take that and you can start looking at investing into things like silver, gold, stocks, crypto, whatever it may be. That's the best time to do it, because you know that you are financially secure. When you have people taking out second mortgages to buy silver, when you have people taking out loans to buy silver, you know right off the bat that they are not in that situation. So you had all these people making these bad decisions, getting invested in silver. Now they're underwater. And of course, they're going to do one of two things. One, they're going to sell it, take the loss, and call it a day and be done with silver completely for the rest of their lives. Wash it, be done. Two, they're going to do what I would do in that situation. We're going to put it aside, and we're going to hope that silver turns around, and what they'll probably do is, if silver gets to a point where they can break even, they'll probably go ahead and sell their silver and get back out of it. Of course, with inflation going the way it is, it's very possible that won't happen, because you're going to have to go higher. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if silver's going to have, let's say you paid $30 an ounce, because of inflation, you're probably going to need $35 an ounce back out of it to cover the fact that your money is now worth less than when you invested in silver as well. So that, I believe, is causing people to lose interest in silver. And as a result, we are going to start seeing, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we're going to start seeing premiums come down. that's what my hope is, you know, going into the rest of this year, going into the early part of next year, is that because of situations like that, we start to see premiums come down, and now people don't have to pay, you know, a ridiculous number way over spot to invest in silver above spot. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to, you know, silver right now is under 20. It's 19 and change. So let's just call it 20. If you have to pay 12 over spot for Eagles, that is a 60% premium. If you have to pay 4 over spot for rounds, that is a 20% premium. Who wants to invest in something and be that underwater immediately? Now, before I start getting hate in the comments, because I will, I want to address the hate that I will get in the comments. Yes, I do understand that there is a difference between the physical value, those physical price of silver, and this paper price, but you can't argue with me and tell you that those numbers are completely decoupled, because I can buy silver rounds cheaper today than I could 2 weeks ago. Why? Not because the premiums went down. No, because the spot prices went down. So yes, it doesn't matter what you try and tell me. There is definitely a connect between the paper price on the market and the physical price of silver. And I'll tell you this because let's say you want to go out and sell your silver for $35 an ounce today. Try and do it. Try and go on Reddit if you think, or let's say you think silver's worth $100 an ounce. Do me a favor, go on Reddit and sell your round for $100. It's not going to happen. No one's going to pay it because it's not worth $100 an ounce. The paper market isn't there for it. The paper market has to be there. I'm sorry, but you know, maybe that needs to change, and you can argue that that needs to change, and we can talk about that because I might even agree with you. But it doesn't change the fact that right now there is definitely a connect between silver in paper and silver physical, that those numbers are absolutely in correlation. You're paying more over spot than you were before the silver squeeze, but at the end of the day, there is definitely a correlation between physical spot price and paper spot price. It just is. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. You know, as far as stacking silver is concerned, if you're going to continue to stack silver, I definitely am. You guys, I'm sure you've seen, I've definitely invested in silver. As of recent, I just did a video where I picked up that $250 face bag at 90%. Now, granted, I totally acknowledge, I don't want anyone to hate me in the comments, I totally acknowledge that I have my website that I sell some silver on. I do my auctions and things like that. But I have my own personal stack, and the things that I told you before, the way that I invest in silver, the things that I make sure that I have set aside and ready to go, I hold to that. That's 100% truth for me. And I hope that it is for most people as well. Just make sure that you're in a good financial position to be able to invest in anything. And then after that, you know, have fun. Enjoy investing. Buy your premium silver. Enjoy the stuff that you look at. It's a lot of fun. I like premium silver. I like the really nice designs and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to let it go here. It's what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm on a windy road, so I guess I better pay. I haven't not paid attention to the road, of course, but I better pay a little bit more attention given that I'm on a very windy back road. But either way, listen, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, like I said earlier, do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.